Okay. We will start with Barry and Margaret. Would you each take a part of the Ashrei, or you'd rather? You okay with that?
We'd rather join together.
I understand, but it's to me as a listener, unless you'd really rather not. It'd be more exciting to do it one and the other respond. Let's go with that.
Okay, creative Hebrew.
I'm sorry?
Creative Hebrew.
Creative Hebrew is right. And there you go. Creative Hebrew, Ashrei 164.
Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Oja Hallelujah Selah.
Ashreho am shechacholo, Ashreho am shalanoy Elohav.
Tila le David, Aramim Chalohai HaMelech, Avarcha Shimcha, Leolam Va'ed.
B'chol yom avarecha, Rachel imcho shimcho li'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai Umchol Ma'od, Ve'ligduto Ein Cheker.
Dor l'dor yishbach ma'asecha, U'barsecha yagidu.
Adar Kavod Chodecha, B'divrei Niflotecha Asicha.
Bezos neratecha yomeru, U'gluso asar preno.
Seher Rav Tuvcha Yabiu, V'tzitecha Yiranenu.
Anon v'racham Adonai arach apayim v'gdol hased.
Tov Adonai L'Kol, V'rachamav Kol Ma'asav.
Yeducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'hasidecha yivrachucha.
Kavod Malchutcha Yameru, Ugvaratacha Yedaveru.
V'chodia lifnei ha'amrav narasav. V'rov v'hadar ma'alchuso.
Malchutcha Malchut Kol Olamim, Umemshaltecha Bechal Dor V'Ador.
Samech Adonai l'chol hanofim, v'chokef l'chol hakofim.
Einei Chol Elecha Yisaberu, V'atanata Lachem Et Achlam B'ito.
Poteach et yodecha, v'yasmecha l'chol v'rachson.
Tzadik Adonai B'chol Deracha, V'chasid B'chol Ma'asav.
Kavod Adonai ha'akol korah, v'chol asher yishme'im v'emet.
Ritzon Yirei Ya'aseh, V'yet Shavatam Yishma V'yoshiem.
Shomer Adonai et kol ha'avov, v'et kol ha'avshim yishmid.
Tehila Adonai Yedaber Pi, V'varech Kol Basar, Shem Kodsho Le'olam Va'ed.
V'anachnu nevaret Yah me'atov yad olam. Hallelujah.
Anachnu Nevarech Yah Me'atav Yad Olam. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, indeed. Much improved, much improved. Excellent. Revise Chatzi Kaddish, page 166. And Harvey, do you have your site or you just came for services?
Susan is Mincha for her, what is it, your
great-great-grandmother.
Great-great-grandmother. And my aunt's yurt site is Mariv.
Okay, so we'll get to that. Jeff Snyder, would you recite the Chatzi Kaddish on page 166, please?
Yikadav v'yikadav shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad yivrach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'b'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah Yolam Eloh Me'omaya Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitroman v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala shemei d'kudusha Eila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'miram b'yama v'imru.
Amen. Lauren, would you lead us in the Amidah? We begin on the inside back cover, coming back to 198 through the Kedusha and conclude silently.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Hanura El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Kasdei Avod U'mevi Goel Lifnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Azer Ufoked Moshiach Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah
Amen.
Ta Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Metim Atarav Lehoshia Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed Mechaye Metim B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asirim U'Mekayem Eminato Lishenei Afar Mi chamocha ba'al geverot, umi domelach, melech memit u'mekayem matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'aman atah lechayot metim, baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim.
Amen. נקדש את שמך בעולם, בשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה וזה ואמר.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה על זה ואמר.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, בכל הארץ כבודו, ומתן ברוך יאמרו.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו, לעומתם ברוך יאמרו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ודברי קודשך כתוב לאמור.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. קדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue in silence from 172 to the end of the Amidah.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, shalom. Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Kaddish Shalem, page 194. Yitkada v'yitkada Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yama divrachute v'yamlich malchute v'chayekon v'yomekon v'chayed kol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach la'olam u'amei amaya yitbarach. Barak Vishtabak, Yitpa'ar, Vitrama, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitala, Vitala, Shmei de Kudisha,
Vehu.
Leila, Min Kol Birkata, Vishirata, Tishbakata, Venechamata, Damiram, Biama, Vimeru,
Amen.
Kabot, Sloton, Avuton, De Kol Yisrael, Kadama, Buhon, Divi, Shmaya, Vimeru,
Amen.
Heishlama, Rabba, Min Shmaya, Vachaim, Alena, Via, Kol Yisrael, Vimeru.
Amen.
Say shalom b'mrama, Puya say shalom, Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imaru amen.
Leinu l'shabea.
Yirach ladon hakol ha'tekedula liatzer v'shit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchalkenu kahem, V'goralenu k'kol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtakavim u'modim, lifnei malach malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Leinu l'shabea.
V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
We recall with love those who gave us life and shared life with us, whose yortzeit is the 16th of Sivan, Thursday, May 27th, 2021. The following names are listed in our perpetual memorials of Chizuk Amuno and are inscribed in our hearts and our souls. Sadie Fraden Barron, Lieutenant Arthur Bean, Benjamin Davison, Sophia Folis, Sarah Foreman, Jacob Gittleson, Fanny Leiter, Dr. Nathan Levin, Etta Beck Mermelstein, Albert Lewis Moss, Rosa Rifkin, Lena Scher, Elizabeth Straitman, Ernestine Eisenman Strauss, Sophia Tucker, Rose L. Brosupsky, Zelda Stella Verstandig, and first yortzeit for Benish Gartner of blessed memory, and Leah Lipsitz. Who else, Jeffrey? Did we miss someone? Very good. Yortzeit and Mourners Kaddish, page 198. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'amad yivrach chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach ve'olam u'l'olam me'amaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא V'yitadal v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha b'richu Lela min kol bichata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram be'alma v'imo amen Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imo amen Oseh shalom imomav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imo amen. Good evening. That concludes the Mincha service. Harvey, you were saying that you have Yortzeit tonight for, who would that be?
For my Aunt Ruth Cohen.
Ruth Cohen. Well, let me put her name down. I don't see it in the listing. Would you tell us a little something about Ruth Cohen, please?
Ruth, my Aunt Ruth was always larger than life to me. She was, our families were very close. She was the wife of my father's brother, and the families were always very close. We live where we do right now because my Uncle Mike was one of the first people to buy a house in the development here in Stevenson Ridge, and my parents followed him out here. So they had a son who was just a couple months older than I was. We were very close growing up. There were actually three of us. There was another cousin that was not quite a year older. But Ruth, I think, was born in Baltimore and came from a family that were caterers. Our maiden name was Applestein. And so, you know, family dinners rotated through the holidays, and it was always a pure delight when we went to Aunt Ruth's for one of them with more food than we could know what to do with.
Well, I imagine Yom Kippur was not necessary on the list. You had
No, Yom Kippur was not on the list, and that was back in the day where you didn't have break fast parties.
Right.
So
makes sense. The good old days.
Between Thanksgiving and
But you were all
Rosh Hashanah, and
you were all at Shul together.
we were pretty much to Shul together. They were members of the congregation here at Chizuk Amuno very early on, as they moved out in this area, probably in like 1959.
Right.
And I just, she was always the very nicest of hostess, and they were always very good to me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Howie, for those wonderful memories. And Gary, would you share a memory about Mom, if you would? Ninth, Yortzeit.
Yes, starting with Maori. And Mom, I can't believe it's 9 years, just a classic, Jewish mother, not in a, aggressive sense. She was a laid back person, but so kind and phenomenal cook. And, just taught us taught us so many life lessons just by being around her. One that we always talk about in our family was she was fortunate enough to have a very nice fur coat. But when she went out with maybe a couple that, they were having a little bit of a hard time, never. Then she would wear, something else, just never wanted to, as she called it, put on airs. She was so nice, had so many friends. They would call every night when we'd come home, hello, who's this? The friends would go, is this Ronnie? No. Is this David? No. Is this Stephen? No, it's Gary. And a procession, you'd hang up, the phone would ring again, another friend. And they all relied on her. And she was such a wonderful friend, and so many diverse friends. And of course, a wonderful wife and support to my dad. Didn't really come from a religious family, but kept a kosher home. learned how to do it, and we've all followed in her footsteps as well. And we think of her every day. She's just an inspiration to all of us.
Absolutely, a giant lady. Thank you, Gary. Beautiful. I could listen all night, but we got to get on with the Ma'ariv. We turn to page 200. Gary, please lead us. Page 200, Arvi.
I don't mind. Elite here. Hurach Michaper Ben Velo Yashvit, Verbola Shiva Pavlo Kochamato, Adonai Hashem El Chanenu V'Yom Karenu, Baruch Adonai Barach.
Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed.
May be seated.
Please be seated. Sorry about that. Al came to me, you Mochalenu Leolam Vaed, Baruch Adonai, Ma'ariv Haravi.
Amen. Avat Olam, B'Yisrael Ba'Haftatam. Elohim Levan Command to Regal. Yainu Lokim.
We are Batcha to see me little. I mean, Baruch Adonai, Ohegamo Yisrael.
202.
Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'uletcha v'aderech v'shafrecha v'kmecha v'kshartam leot al yadecha v'yuletotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
202 in the middle.
Top of page 204.
The bottom of 202, Laman
Laman Yerbu, Yimechem V'Yimechem Al Hadamah Asher Nishba Adonai Lavotechem Latei Lahem K'mei Hashamayim Ahal Haaretz.
Go for the top. Vayomer
Vayomer Adonai Moshe Lemar Daber Al Bnei Yisrael V'Marta Lehem V'Yasu Lahem Tzitzit Al Kamfei V'Gdehem L'Doratam V'Nat Nu Al Tzitzit V'Kanaf Patil Tchelet V'Yalachem L'Tzitzit V'Ritem Oto V'Zchartem Et Kol Mitzvotai V'Yitem Kedoshim L'Elahechem Asher Netzim Acharei V'Avchem V'Acharei Nechem Asher Atem Zonim Achareihem L'man Tizkru V'Asitem Et Kol Mitzvotai V'Yitem Kedoshim L'Elahechem Ani Adonai L'Elahechem Asher Tzeti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem L'Elohim Ani Adonai L'Elahechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Harvey, would you be kind enough to read the English on page 205, please?
Certainly. We affirm the truth that he is our God, that there is no other, and that we are his people Israel. He redeems us from the power of kings, delivers us from the hand of all tyrants. He brings judgment upon our oppressors, retribution upon all our mortal enemies. He performs wonders beyond understanding, marvels beyond all reckoning. He has maintained us among the living. He has not allowed our steps to falter. He guided us to triumph over mighty foes, exalted our strength over all our enemies. He vindicated us with miracles before Pharaoh, with signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. In wrath, he smote all of Egypt's firstborn, bringing his people to lasting freedom. He led his children through the divided waters as their pursuers sank in the sea. When his children beheld his might, they sang in praise of him, gladly accepting his sovereignty. Moses and the people of Israel sang with great joy to the Lord.
Moshe and Israel, Achon Yisrael, Simcha Rabbah, V'yamru Chulam, Mi Kamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha Nedor B'Kodesh, Nerati Lo Tosef Eleh, Machutcha B'Ravonecha, B'Keyem Lifnei Moshe, Zeili Anu V'yamru, Adonai Imloch Le'elam V'ed, V'ne'emar, Kifar Adonai Jacob, Galamiat Chazak Mimenu, Orchat Adonai, Goal Yisrael.
Amen. Harvey, at top of 207, please.
Help us, our Father, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life again, our King. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from the enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. You, O God, guard us and deliver us. You are a gracious and merciful King. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Praised are you, Lord eternal, guardian of your people Israel.
V'shmor tzitenu v'enu l'chaim l'shalom me'atav yad olam baruch atah Adonai shomer amo Yisrael la'ad.
Amen. We're in the middle of 206. Amen.
Amen.
Page 208 at the top.
Ki malchut shecha hi olamei atimloch b'chavod ki ein lanu melech ela ata baruch atah Adonai HaMelech b'chvado tamid yimlech alenu le'elam v'ed b'al kol ma'asav.
Amen. We rise. Chatzi Kaddish 208.
Yitkadav v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yirachurutei v'yamlech malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chaydecho b'Yisrael v'agalav yizman kari v'imaru.
Amen.
Yehishmei Rabbah Mavarach Le'olam Le'olmei Amayav Yitbarach Yitbarach V'ishtabach V'yitpar V'yitram V'yinaseh V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Richu Le'olam Yikor Chatzav V'shurata Tishbachata V'nachmata Damaram V'yamal V'imeru. Amen.
We rise for the Amidah. We speak to God directly in silence, no less. 210 through 220. Please continue at your own pace. Gary is going to pick up a 222 Kaddish Shalem.
Yitkara v'yitkara shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yom adi rach v'rtevi melech machotei b'chayechon v'yemechon v'chaydecho b'Yisrael b'aglovus makari v'yimaru. Amen. Yeshmei Rabbah mavarach v'olam yomei amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitram v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah. Rihu le'elam yikover chatov shiratot yishbachatov v'nachmatov tamaram b'yamal v'yimaru. Amen. Yitika be'al tzolotonu v'tahon l'chol Yisrael kadonu v'hon v'yishmai v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chaim alin v'yakol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Shabeach ladon akol latekidu laliat separation shelo asanu kagayeh aratzot below samanu kmishpachot adama shelo samchel kenu kahem begoralenu kechol amonam vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki malchut shelcha hi u'amei atimloch b'chavod kakatu b'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad.
It's like riding a bike, isn't it, Gary? Once you've learned it, it stays with you. Ronnie, would you be kind enough and share with us a memory of mom, something that really stands out for you, please?
Yeah, I think, the one thing I'll always remember is when my wife was getting ready to have our second child, she said to my mother, she says, I don't know how I'm going to be able to give this child as much love as I've giving to our oldest. And my mother said to her, she says, there's always room in your heart for more. And, and my wife found it to be true. We all found it to be true. And that's just the way she was. She was always a person where the glass was half full. She was always satisfied with whatever she had. She never was jealous of anyone for anything that they were able to have. And she taught that to all of us. And we try to bring that to our next generation too.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ronnie. Really beautiful. It says in the Torah, "Ve'achalta ve'savata," you shall eat and be satisfied. That phrase is in the Torah portion for our Rebecca. And Rabbi Zeman, Zichrono Livracha, pointed that out in his Dvar Torah. Said the true blessing is to eat and be full. You can have a lot of food and still be hungry. That's not a blessing. But if you have a little and it fills you up, that's true blessing. And thank you for sharing. Quick question, Ronnie. If you'll be here tomorrow morning, I can arrange for you to lead services if you like.
I will be there.
Or part of it, if you like.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I'll be happy to participate.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. On behalf of the Minyan and the congregation, we extend condolences to Erica's family on the loss of Herbert Moskowitz, Zichrono Livracha. And we recall with love those who gave us life and shared life with us, whose yortzeit is Erev Shabbat, the 17th of Sivan, Friday, the 28th of May, 2021. The following names are listed in our perpetual memorials at Chizuk Amuno, and they are inscribed in our hearts and our souls. Julia C. Adler, Mildred Atman, Mimi Miller Fink, Dr. B. Ralph Buddy Hoffman, Minnie B. Levy, Benjamin Luntz, Manuel Patz, Dr. Stephen F. Pitt, Sidney Schulman, Shirley Zalis Snyder, Sarah Steinberg, Josephine S. Sutland, Maurice Tobias, Maurice Udell, and we also recall Ruth Cohen of blessed memory. Jeffrey, anybody else? That covers it? Okay. Yortzeit and Mourner's Kaddish is on page 226. Yid Gadal,
Shmei Rabbah, B'yomod Divrach, Kiversei, V'yamlich Machusei, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chayei, B'chol Beis Yisrael. B'agalah, B'zman Kori, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehi Shlom, Rabba Min Shemaya, Hayim, Lena V'yalkol Yisrael, V'yimeru, Amen. Say, Made Kudishah B'recha, Leila Min Kol Berchasa, V'shirasa, Chasa V'nechamasa, Damiran B'yomal V'yimeru, Amen. Hey Shlomo Rabba Min Shemai, Hayim Olenu V'yalkol Yisrael V'yimeru, Amen. Shalom B'merumot, Luya Shalom, Olenu V'yalkol Yisrael V'yimeru, Amen.
Before we go, just a little something to take on the road. Excuse me for that. Telephone and computers when they're all hooked up. One of the things that we consider a good thing to do is to find a connection between the Torah portion and our particular situation. And as we are speaking and davening tonight, the Talmud says that on Hanukkah, we light 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, and more. It turns out that there was a dispute between Hillel and Shammai. Shammai said you start with 8 and you diminish each day with less. Hillel said you start with 1 and you go up to 8. And the reason is ma'alim b'kodesh v'lo moridim. You increase, the word aliyah, ma'alim, you increase holiness rather than diminish. And just tonight, for the first time in my life, I noted and connected the name of the parsha is Baha'alotcha. When you are lighting the candle and you raise the light for the menorah, the verb that's used is Baha'alotcha aliyah. And that's why the Talmud says, Ma'alim b'kodesh v'lo moridim. I thank you for the opportunity to increase sacredness and holiness in our life in this world. Please God, we should come together in good health and safety, and we ask God to watch over us. Please watch over us. Tomorrow morning at 7:30, in good cheer and good stead.
Hey, Moshe, Moshe, that's my father's bar mitzvah sedra.
Well, there you go. No accidents.
There you go.
There are no accidents and no coincidences. They're all God's way of doing the work without publicity. Please be careful, be safe, be good. Thank you all.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night, Lauren.
Thank you, Erica.
Good night, everyone.
From our hearts. And thank you, Jeff.
Good night, Miss. Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey.
Gary, outstanding.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Gary.
seeing everybody. We miss
Yes,
you
you did a
in
great
person.
job.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, and Ruthann, and Deborah, and Harvey.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll see you
Mark,
tomorrow morning.
Barry, and Jeffrey again, always.
Yeah.